It's a little crazy to say this out loud, but I don't see music as like a career or like, कि ठीक है ये एक job है जो हम कर रहे हैं. Like it's always been like, okay, I'm going through something. तो इसका reflection is this song that has come out.
You have created a very unique sound for yourself. How does one artist find their sound?
I know the real reason why I'm making music because it's the most exciting thing for me.
Your music has also reached Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Being part of that and like just the South Asian sound being represented on that global scale, I think that's what I think the headline is really, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Have you had a moment where you felt like, oh, this artist or this actor or this celebrity has heard my music? Oh my God, this has happened.
So I met A.R. Rahman earlier this year. I met him and I had a complete like fanboy moment. A manager told me that he had heard of like my music, and I was just like, yup, that is a big one.
Congratulations, MIMMI is out already, and now that
Thank you.
I have listened to the album, but what I want to know is, what are you feeling now that this is your debut album? So what are you feeling right now?
Like I said, it's just too overwhelming right now. It's the debut and everything, and I think the whole of last week has been very intense, and because we're building up to 2nd September, which is also my mom's birthday, and this album is dedicated to her. So this entire thing came along in the last 6 months. So we were just anticipating how this is going to turn out, and like I'm really glad that people are enjoying it. Yeah.
So I do want to ask, like growing up, what were your influences when it came to music, and has it been what we have seen in your music now?
Growing up, like I had like my primary influence was Indian classical, because my mom's an Indian classical singer, my dad plays the tabla. So, we had Indian classical playing in the house all the time. Like I would wake up to my mom's riyaz in the morning. So that was my primary influence. And then as I grew older, I think in my teens, I started listening to VH1 Top 40 and like, the rap hits and all of that. And I think because of these two influences, like so diverse, like ये इतना like opposites के side of the spectrum पे influence आ रही थी, I think that sort of like built this format in my head. वो subconsciously build होने लगा, and then the minute I reached the age of starting to express, like, like I'm like 13, 14 and I'm wanting to like, express all these emotions. And I think as I was doing that, I realized that, okay, cool, this is turning into a style of music that I'm excited about and jo bana raha hu main. So that's basically how it like took place.
Right.
Yeah.
Putting together an album is not easy feature. Basically, it takes a while for many artists. But were you, in a way, when you came into the industry, when you started making music in general, did you want to have your singles out first before you do your EP or like a full-length album?
So, मैं तो, in fact, it's crazy. I don't actually look at any of this as a it's a little crazy to say this out loud, but I don't see music as like a career or like, कि ठीक है ये एक job है जो हम कर रहे हैं. Like it's always been like, okay, I'm going through something. तो इसका reflection is this song that has come out. I see it as pure expression कि ठीक है I was obviously like this. I look at my music and I see these like blocks कि हाँ this point पे ये चल रहा था मेरे साथ. These are all reactions. गाने बस reaction थे मेरे लिए. So उस process में I think गाने लिखे जाते हैं, and then like they come out the way they come out, and this time it was an album. Even when with MIMMI, it was basically all these conversations with my mom. We didn't even like plan this. वो मैं सुबह में बात कर रहा हूँ mom से और शाम में melodies आ रहे हैं. So like that sort of like next thing I know I've compiled like 4 tracks and then 6 tracks, and I'm like, okay cool, now I think it's an album. और फिर जब like side by side गाने लिखे जा रहे हैं और मैं दिमाग में चल रहा है कि ठीक है ये album हो सकता है, चलो ठीक है album है, अब album है तो क्या है, what is happening, what am I talking about? So this entire process was like so real time में कि मतलब कुछ like जैसे जैसे गाने लिखे जा रहे हैं वैसे वैसे मैं realize कर रहा हूँ चीजें, and that's how like the album is also taking shape, and like yeah, like that's just to give you an idea of how how I work basically. Yeah,
Right.
काफी reverse engineered है ये.
But how rare it is to hear from an artist that their mom has participated in the album process. How rare is that? And how amazing also is that like the fact that you've also incorporated all these stories in such a beautiful way. It's like a whole journey when you listen to the album top to bottom.
My mom is actually like she's inspired a lot of like the content of this album, and I think more than it's the subject also of what I'm talking about, it's mainly the fact that I have like seen this like through with her. हम लोग बैठ के गाने लिखे हैं. We've and these are basically conversations. Like every song is a conversation. And that's how it like took shape. So I think Ma is the soul in the album in a way. And so yeah.
I think that
Right.
also incorporates well in the music video, and the fact that Adarsh Gaurav and Shibaji is like
Yeah, yeah,
so purely defined. Obviously, he's going through a breakup, and the fact
yeah,
that she's helping him out in
yeah,
this entire process of like healing, in a way, return healing. And
yeah,
I love the fact that how it was shown this beautiful story about a mother and a son.
yeah,
And like I've always wondered what influences your music videos, because it's I think it's one of the unique styles that people do. You hardly feature in them, but or like most of them you're never there. So I've
yeah.
always wondered, like, you, was there a particular thing that you always wanted your music to tell a proper story, and that's why you always wanted these music video in like a concept kind of a way?
I think first off, I think we've like been very lucky with the people that we've ended up working with. So like a big shout out to Rima, who's directed this video. She also directed my first music video, which is Urgai. So this was like a full circle moment for me because like after years of like not having like we've just been doing our own things. We started off together and then we both went in our own like domains, and then we've sort of come back and like done our second video together. So it's very special. And obviously Rima's a genius, and like she came up with such a beautiful, I think I remember talking to her about the album, and I think when she came back with like the music video idea, we were just floored. So I mean, that being first, the set of people that like I think we work with is very epic. Like even a big shout out to Dar from Jugaad. So I think what I've always thought about is that like audio meets video. Like it should be a audio video marriage, where and in a way where there are two stories being told, uh, and it's almost as if it's two stories, but the emotion is the same. So it's like this beautiful little like world, which is the which what I think we plan to do, and hopefully abhi tak touch it, things have been going the way they have been, and yeah.
Especially you have created a very unique sound for yourself. How does one artist find their sound?
I don't think again, like, I think as I was making music, like, I remember when, like, even before, like, Udgai, when I'd gotten my big break, this is pre-Udgai times also, jab gaane bana rahe the. I think even today I work like that only. As long as it's exciting to me, I will put it out, and in the hopes ki, yaar, logo ko, I hope people enjoy it, but even if people don't, you know it's okay, because like I know that I know the real reason why I'm making music, because it's the most exciting thing for me, and as long as it's that, tab tak I can like continue doing this in the most honest way possible. So I think in this process I think a sound was formed, but like ये always post analysis होता है. कभी I've never like really thought it out कि मतलब कि ठीक है, like, oh, this sounds, I feel like it sounds like me as it should, like अगर लोग, I would want कि the song should sound like me, so I mean how see yeah. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of music. I do feel like many experiment with their music, but it also is their own story. So it like, this is their song, this is them, but they're also doing this thing. So I always feel like the way it feels like it's the essence of their music is there. They've
Yeah.
experimented with that. I genuinely like Chanda Mama a lot.
Hmm.
I was listening to it and I was like, dude, this is such a beautiful story. But I felt like from what I don't know whether you can agree to this or not, but it is about someone who's been in love, who's come out of this shelter space also, and now he's trying to find how to be without that proper love, but also finding that like I feel like the person is trying to find themselves as at least that's what I feel like that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
after love, after you come into a world where you've not sheltered. So what I think I'm right. I don't know where I
No,
am.
I think music art, it's like, it's, it's everyone's will have their own interpretation, and that's how it should be, and I love what you've like said about that song. There's obviously a journey that I had. There is the context why I wrote that song. I've actually, to give you like just a good understand, like I wrote that song for my kids, I wrote that
Oh,
song for my kids, and in the second chorus you can hear like a childlike voice, which I'm trying to emulate like my child in the future. I'm trying to do something there, but it's like for my kids, right? Because these are all some of the values that I was taught, the love that I was taught. I intend on passing that on to my kids. I'm like trying to instill some values in them. Or ye Gana is like a love letter to my kids. So what you have said is exactly what the song also, like, talks about, and like expect, like, just, I think the song is really demanding honesty from the listener. Ki, be yourself, be the truest you. No matter, like, there are going to be like number of hurdles, right? Like, I think one of the lines from the song is दुनिया रुलाए तुमको सताए, and तुम अपने मन की आंखें ना बंद करना. Like, all of that, I think, really just like the talks about being yourself, and I think that song really captures that emotion. Yeah.
I think it's been a big year. Apart from this album, your music has also reached Marvel Cinematic Universe in many ways. And
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like when I saw the episode, I was like, dude, this is amazing. I think when
Thank you.
I watched Miss Marvel, so how I think a lot of new listeners might have come into your audience as well after that episode aired, because the playlist in every episode was dynamic.
So
So
good, so good.
I have discovered so many
Yeah, yeah,
artists in that sense, especially with Riz Ahmed. I felt like
yeah,
such
yeah.
a great artist that way.
So
So
good.
yeah, so I genuinely want to know, like, what has been the experience, like the fact that your music is so widespread now, and the fact that you are also in Marvel now in
It is a very big flex. It's really cool to say this out loud. But I think more than that, I think the, like you said, the soundtrack altogether, right? Being part of that, and like just the South Asian sound being represented on that global scale. I think that's what I think the headline is really, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Just, I think it's important, not just for me as an individual, but like the representation here in general. The brown community. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
You've come so far, but I've always wondered, like, was there a moment where you felt like the music thing might not be working for you, or was it something like you want to excel in this, and that's when you continued working on this?
So I mean, I'm really lucky in a way, and I should acknowledge my privilege here. Like, I've been blessed with folks that have been so understanding of what I want to do and what I intend to do. So ye shuru se tha. So music never felt like, okay, cool, I need to make it or break it. Like, it was never like a competition for me. It was never, because that environment was never like that, right? My folks, I remember telling them right before, okay, I'm like, guys, nothing is happening till like 27. So like, like, and they're like, dude, just do your thing. I think that pressure was off. So I've never looked at it as like very like in the forest, like trying to like Hunger Games chal raha hai. But I know that I have constant self-doubt in what I'm doing. That is there throughout. I'm always wondering. Even yesterday, before putting out the album, I'm just like, yeah, like, what is happening? What am I? Are we doing this? And that is a constant like wo chalta rehta hai. So yeah.
That I understand it. Like, I think when things are going well and you've said certain things and things are working out, I think you also have a question like, how is this
Yeah.
working out?
Absolutely. I remember when we put out Ud Gaye, like the week before that, I was just like, guys, like, like, and I remember because Tanmay at the time, and like my management, mom, everybody was like, dude, this is a hit, and I'm like, yeah, how do you know this? How are you saying this? Like, kahan se confidence aa raha hai? Like, because I don't have it, so yeah.
Right. I understand. I completely do, because I feel like I came into your music quite later, but I
Yeah.
saw you at One Plus Festival, and right
Hmm.
before Katy Perry's and Dua Lipa's set, and you were about to perform. That was a wide audience, huh? DY Patil Stadium. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
the
That was
amount
well
of cheers came out when he started playing, and I thought, dude,
done.
this man is doing really well.
Oh, thank you. That was a wonderful experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure. But I have to say this. I feel like, in a way, lockdown has sort of changed the way people are now consuming music. Also, I feel like people
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think lines have blurred in the sense like what we call mainstream, what we call independent. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think that things have changed in the space, music making space, and the fact that a lot of consumption has happened? A lot of people are trying to find newer artists or the kind of artists that they would like to listen to. I think a lot of independent music is doing so well right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that sense, I feel like tastes have changed. And the fact that the amount of trending songs are, the fact that independent songs, and now they're like people are buying copyrights to be for that song to be in a Bollywood song, movie or that kind of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
how times have changed completely.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's yeah, like you said, I think I totally agree to that. I think like it is like I think the next 5 years are also going to be very exciting for independent music. You know, just the fact that it's the whole DIY aspect of this is so like the power of that is like the sky's the limit, right? Because we are in the day and age of internet and we have the tools that we require. बैठ के you have to just pour yourself on your laptop on the mic and then आप बनाओ एक गाना. As long as you're being yourself, there are people gonna be out there listening to you, hopefully, and like I still keep hoping that like people enjoy my stuff. But I think as long as you're being yourself, have faith in the process. And I think DIYing yourself out of like to like reaching a point is a very beautiful process, because you get to learn about yourself in that process, right? I think in my journey also, just having to produce on my own, compose and like write, and like all of this, like music making as a whole, is was a journey for me to find myself, and I think that resulted in me being an independent artist, and making sure that I have control over the music that I'm making and how I'm putting it out there. Yes, sub, I think in this last like 5-6 years has been a beautiful like journey for me. So yeah, and it's booming like 5 years. I'm so excited for newer acts. Like I would love to name drop my favorites right now.
I was about to ask you, like, who are
Yeah.
you listening to?
There's this guy. His name is Dorvin. I've been a fan of him. Like he started like covering some of my music like 3-4 years ago, and he's been writing his debut album. I'm so excited for everybody to listen to it. And there's like this Dorvin. There's Karan Kanchan is actually he's on this album also with me. He's co-produced one of the songs. But yeah, just great epic talent that is coming out of India right now. It's just very exciting 5 years. Yeah.
Right. I've always wondered, like, have you had a moment where you felt like, oh, this artist or this actor or this celebrity has heard my music? Oh my God, this has happened.
I think the closest was that I met A.R. Rahman earlier this year. I met him and I had a complete like fanboy moment. And my manager told me that he had heard of like my music, and I was just like, "Yup, that is a big one," because I really didn't expect him to, and that was that's my one person that I will, and I did like I froze in front of him, so yeah,
Like, now that you're
yeah.
embarking on your tour as well, and I think it's been so long since like you've had that big audience, because everyone has been doing a lot of virtual shows and all. So like, is it like there are jitters, or like are you like excited to be in front of audience, like in now that
Yeah.
like new music to play also?
Absolutely. It's I'm very excited to like, because with the new album there's also going like we're sort of changing the setup of the show also. The show is also, the live aspect is also changing as the music is also so yeah, I'm looking forward. I think November, December we're going to do the India tour. And it's going to be fun. I'm very excited.
Do you set any goals for yourself, like this is like, or do you go with the flow in a sense like jaise chal raha hai, I will take one day at a time, or something like you have this thing and I have to achieve certain things?
Like I said, I have a very reverse way of, yeah, keep like it is honestly flow mein chalne ka, but I have a team that starts planning accordingly, so that way it's like theek hai, next 3 months is looking like this for him, so let's plan out. Everything is built around the music that way, so हम लोग, yeah, we work very like reverse mode में. Yeah.
Before I wrap up, I do want to ask, like the current social media trends have changed how people market their music in general. I do feel like a lot of songs get popular via social media, especially with reels and all.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to have that proper album or release, and they want the music to speak also. They are not doing that one bit of 10 seconds
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
goes so viral that you try to
Yeah.
discover कि हाँ ये music है and this is a 3 minute का song, like how in mains like Chand Balia for that moment, like it had gone so viral and then eventually it became such a popular track. I do
Yeah.
think I think Urga also found a lot of audience via social media also, because I
Or yeah.
thought that I discovered via social media only and not just particularly YouTube. So I felt like the amount of things have changed over the years, how people market their music. So what do you think is changing, or do you also follow these kind of trends, or do you feel like I will put out music and then I'll see how it goes?
I mean, our very go-to funda is very like that word of mouth is the best way of marketing, you know, like काफी like organic way में अगर हो रहा है, you know that ठीक है, people are digging it and people will, if they enjoy it as much, like बना देंगे, they'll do their thing, they'll put on reels, and that's how Bharat took off actually on reels, you know. It like I think the Suna Safar section on Bharat, as it like a lot of people thought that this was like planned for reels and stuff. Really नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. हम लोग ने album निकाला. I think that song didn't even have a lot of influencers in the beginning. Like influencers actually, that once that became a trend is when like people started like actually getting on. You know, that song on the album actually had like it was the final song on the EP, and it was really cool because I think people associated travel vlogging with it, and like काफी interesting हो गया था to watch, like, and it blew up and we were just very like, you know, surprised, and like just I think this is the perfect way to like for it to work, right? As long as it is catchy enough for people to like adhere to. So I think that's how I see marketing, honestly. Yeah, and I feel like with social media also, I love posting things because I think like YouTube पे आप जाके मेरा गाने you're listening to my music. On Instagram, you're trying to understand why I'm writing that music, you know. So like it's giving you context to why I'm doing all those things. So it's great. I love to share, you know, certain stuff from my personal life, and that's in a way marketing for me, I guess. Yeah.
Last question. Do you have any particular song that you are looking forward to performing? Because I feel like I would love to listen to Mahfouz as well.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to like the entire album actually. I just can't wait to have people like sing along to this. Hopefully they do. And yeah.
Lyrics learn कर लेंगे.
बस जल्दी, हाँ, इस बार तो मैंने दे भी दिया है, like I've sat with mama and we've like अच्छे से we've like it's a very lyrical heavy album, you know.
True,
Yeah.
because I was like, dude, this will require me time to just properly go through
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
eventually learn it. Because these days I'm into very different kind of music. Suddenly, I'm listening to ghazals and all. So I'm like, maybe this is where
Wow. No, that's great. Yeah.
very interesting, and I genuinely hope that people do actually will listen to it top to bottom, because it's such a beautiful album. So congratulations.
Thank
Ritviz.
you. Thank you
And
so much,
all
Monica.
the very best for the tour, and I hope Mumbai happens, so I'm there.
Yeah. November. We're starting November.
Congratulations! Congratulations on MIMMI.
Thank you.
Congratulations to your mother, because she's also
Yes.
done great work in that.
Thank you so much.
So much. All the very best.
Yeah. Bye.